Yes.
to have it.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So, hello again. My name is Elahe Meydani. Today I will talk about Power BI, what Power BI is. So basically the history of Power BI and what you can do with it. I will show a short demo and I will try to focus more on why we have to learn it, or especially for beginners or who are just entering to the market, why learning this tool is important. Short introduction about myself. I'm Elahe Meydani from Iran. I moved to Germany in 2013, finished my master's study in Arbeiter Aachen University, and from 2016 to 2017, I was working as a research analyst in University of Koblenz, but I came to this conclusion that academic world kind of is not my world, and I like to just work with industry, real case scenarios, and that's why I switched to industry. And since 2017, I'm working as business intelligence consultant / developer and working with Microsoft Business Intelligence Stack, which is SQL Server analysis services, reporting services, integration services, and of course, Power BI. So Power BI is the final end user tool which is used for business intelligence analysis and business intelligence data analytics as well. But how we come to this stage is also as important. The first wave of business intelligence consisted of monolithic stacks like MicroStrategy and business objects. In early 90s, there were systems. So basically, I'm talking about this part, first wave of technical business intelligence. There were systems that only IT people had access to, and these systems were so big and so complex to work with. So everyone who wanted to have some sort of reports or analytics reports back, they had to go to IT and ask for that report. And sometimes this process was taking too long that when they had the report, it was obsolete. So the data or the analytics was not so valid, so to say. That's why the second wave of business intelligence come. So they said, okay, we will create a situation that people can also create their own reports and ask for their own analytics. So they call it self-service business intelligence. So they separate business intelligence or analytics department, so to say, from IT department, and they try to train a group of people just to provide analytics for the other departments, like HR departments, management, and so on and so forth. But then again, still there are a lot of requests from end users. That's why nowadays we're talking about, we are actually in third wave, which is end user BI, which means, okay, I will give you a report that you can interact with, and you can change it the way you want, or you can filter it the way you want, so you can see or have the view that you want to have. Believe it or not, especially in Germany, we are still in the first wave, jumping to second wave. The third wave is still far for so many companies, especially classic managed companies, companies who are working in finance sectors, who are so close regarding to security and privacy issues. That's why there are still challenge in first wave. There are still reports who are just done with IT people, and we are trying to bring this second wave into companies and projects like this. And that's why having the capability to work or bring the culture of end user business intelligence and self-service business intelligence right now in this area is so important, because we are not just creating the technical stuff, not just creating a report or a dashboard for management or other departments. We are also training the mindset of people so that they know, okay, we are so done with the first wave. We also want to be done with the second wave, and we want to move to the third wave, and we want to give you the power. They are still so scared of having the power, or they are still so concerned with training sessions and spending time on this. But whether they want or not, this is the future, and this is happening right now. I want to make this point right now in the beginning of my presentation. This is one of the reasons that Microsoft and also a lot of other big companies like Amazon, SAP, Click, they're all focusing so hard on end user BI and self-service BI, because we are exactly in transformation edge right now because of all of these stories. But let's talk about the history a little bit. What happened that Microsoft decided they want to invest on such a big project. In 2006, a project was started in Microsoft called Gemini. This project was sort of hidden in the beginning, but they made it public after a while. This guy, he is sort of the father, I would like to call the father of this project Gemini, which later called Power BI. He's Amir Netz. He's the head engineer of the Power BI project. In 2006, they take the power of SQL Server Analysis Services, which is basically dimensional modeling, working with cubes and everything about this world. They took the power and make it available as in-memory engine. So in 2009, Gemini was renamed to Power Pivot and added to the Excel as an add-in. So yeah, in 2009. So people were like, yeah, okay, perfect. Another add-in for Excel. Oh my God, we don't want to work with it. But Power Pivot became one of the key features in Excel, and it was actually one of the turning points in the history of business intelligence analytics in Microsoft. Yeah, as you can see, they said Power Pivot is the best new feature to happen to Excel in 20 years. So Power Pivot was a game changer. They had instant linking, and it bring actually instant linking and splitting of data, creating a lot of smart functions. You just need to have a repository of functions. You need to just write it once and use it all over your Excel file or reports, and it brings a lot of data capacity also to analytics, big or small or medium. It doesn't matter which kind of data you are working with. It brings a lot of capability to Excel for Excel users back in 2009. In 2012, Microsoft decided that they want to add a visual add-on called Power View in order to bring more capability on visualizing the reports and the data. But this attempt was not a successful attempt because in 2012, Microsoft was competing with one of the giants in business intelligence tools, which is Tableau, and who we are kidding. Still, Tableau is one of the best in visualizing. Tableau was found in 2002 or 2003, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry. And Tableau was found by Pixar Animation company. I'm sure you all know this company. That's why their main focus was on making visualization much more beautiful and much more understandable with all of colorings and interactive modes inside the visuals and selecting, drag and drop and this sort of stuff. It makes it so much beautiful for end user and so much easier for end user to interact with. Still in 2012, Microsoft was much way behind when it comes to visualization. In 2013, Microsoft revealed another add-in called Power Query. Power Query is really the heart and the mind of Power BI engine, and also in Excel as well. This engine is so strong when it comes to handling data, cleaning data, cleansing data, transforming data, making all kind of transformation like anomaly detection, error handling. Yeah, I will show you later how it's working. It is work, but there are a lot of capabilities in Power Query because of its strong engine behind. So this was a key point in the process of Power BI evolving Power Query and its brilliant capability of transforming data. So the brain, as I said, the brain and the heart of the Power BI was formed back then. So you had the raw data, you could have transformed and shaped the data with Power Query, and you could have modeled it. Data modeling is one of the most important steps in creating your report or creating your analytics documentation files or whatever, because if you're not doing this step right, you are not going to do anything right. This is very, very important. That's why Power Query brings the capability of data modeling inside Power BI, and this is now the brain and the heart of this application. So finally, in 2015, Microsoft was announced Power BI reports and Power BI dashboards. So turning data into business insight is challenging. There are a lot of challenges in business intelligence world, like having an end-to-end view, having multiple data sources. We are still dealing with the multiple data sources these days with in our projects. We have lots of different sources, especially when it comes to enterprise data. Data is coming from cloud, data is coming from sensors, sensors which are collecting data. We have live data, we have stored data, we have data coming from SQL, data from Access. So there are different data sources and they're all getting into one data analytics tool. So it is very important that the tool that you are using in order to create your report can handle all of these different data sources in one case. And you had the right data for the right user at the right time, which is talking about different roles and security stuff. And we are talking about how we can share, how we can secure our data when it comes to cloud sharing, when it comes to Power BI services, which is basically on the cloud. And just a little on quotation, still in Germany, there are lots of companies who are concerned about cloud because the culture and the concept of the cloud technologies is not yet settled in. So then again, one other key point for you, if you're asking yourself, why should I learn Power BI, is because whether they want it or not, whether they are ready for it or not, they are moving, and we are all moving toward cloud technologies. And Power BI is one of the most powerful tools right now who can work with cloud technologies easily because it comes with a bond with Azure. So this would be another, just a little tip for you why you want to learn it, because it will give you lots of power in the future working with cloud technologies and regarding security and sharing roles and all of this stuff. So yeah, in July 24th, 2015, Power BI was officially announced. So as you can see, it's not very, it's quite young. It's 5 years, 6 years old in comparison to Tableau or comparison to SAP Analytics tools, Click, if I'm not mistaken. Power BI is quite new, but however, it proved itself here in the market because of the capabilities that it's bringing with itself. So as I said, it's a cloud-based business analytics service that enables fast and easy access to data, a live 360-degree view of business, data discovery and exploration insight from any device. Yeah, you can create reports for tablets and mobile phones as well, in a very different platform than Power BI Desktop. There's a collaboration across the organization. Anyone can visualize and analyze the data the way they want. It's just a single drag and drop. But you bring this capability for them. You create the infrastructure and the base, and you give them this power to, okay, hello, my dear CEO, you can now drag and drop and select your filter, and you will see whatever you want to see. And he will be like, oh my God, like, it's so good. But believe me, it's a very long process. So key benefits and differentiations about Power BI. There is some pre-built content packs consisting of dashboard and reports for popular software as solutions. These are mostly used for enterprise companies, so to say, like Dynamic. Microsoft Dynamic is working with, Microsoft Dynamic is an ERP solution, which is connecting directly with Power BI, and it's a pre-built contact pack. You don't need to do anything. It's there, and you just need to connect your Power BI with Dynamic if you are working in with an ERP, Dynamic ERP system. So there are other content packs as well, but then again, these are mostly for enterprise companies. For smaller companies, you have to build all of this for yourself, which is not as challenging. It's not as hard, but sometimes it's challenging. I will correct myself. We have real-time dashboard updates. One of the cool features of Power BI is that you can connect your report or your dashboard to a real-time live streaming dataset. This dataset can be weather dataset, can be sensor monitoring coming from a factory dataset. It can be viewers on your website dataset. Anything which is live, which is changing in a second or in a minute or so, you can connect to that and view the changes live. This is so cool. I remember the first time I built one of these live dashboards for a project I was working, and we were monitoring the sensor data coming from, they were temperature sensor data in a factory, and temperature and light. And the first time I had it, I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. I felt like a baby having a Lego or something like that. It is really, really pleasing when it comes to seeing result in Power BI, because it's really cool. We have this secure live connection to the data sources. It doesn't matter if it's on-premise data source or in cloud data source. The connections differ somehow when you're connecting with a cloud data sources in comparison to on-premise, because I think if you are in this field, you know that when you're connecting to the cloud data sources, you need to have some sort of keys and strings, and it's so different from on-premise, but it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, what you see as front is the same. So you're using both on-premise and on cloud, you're all seeing one report regardless of how you're connecting to your data source. And this is absolutely brilliant, because back in 2017-18, Power BI was not able to connect to some of the data sources. And I remember we had such a hard time to connect. We had to configure a lot of stuff manually in order to bring the data to Power BI. But one good thing about Power BI is that it's growing so fast. They are releasing updates each month, and the updates are really big stuff. It's not like, okay, we are changing the color here on the corner and that's sort of updates. No, it's a very, very life-changing updates. When you are following the updates and when you are growing with the Power BI process or growth, you can see the changes. And this is really, really brilliant, my idea, of course. You have intuitive data acceleration by using natural language query. It connects with Cortana. Honestly, I have never used it. We never had the necessity to use it, but I just know it works, and I will just inform you that it works. And you have also this possibility if you have any request further on in your work life working with natural language queries, feel free. So we have integration with familiar Microsoft products and commitment for scale and availability in Azure. One good thing about Power BI is that it connects with Microsoft 360, and it's a piece of that package. So if you are in a company which you have both Microsoft 360 and Power BI, it's a very a powerful combination, because then the sharing and security stuff is much more easier. You have this Active Directory thing in Azure or in your Office 360, and then the configuration is still the same for Power BI, etc. So it makes your life much easier when it combines with famous Microsoft products. They add recently a new feature to Power BI that they can connect to Microsoft Teams, and Power BI can read the data behind Microsoft Teams, the chats data, and managers or HR managers, they can analyze the negativity or positivity of the chat inside the company. This is a very cool feature with sentiment analysis. They are seeing, okay, if people are talking so negative, then they can understand the whole grading in the company, and they think about it. They will maybe find a solution for it. So this is very interesting. I myself never worked with it, but in one of the final release, they added this feature, which is really cool. And yeah, they have it has fast deployment, hybrid configuration, secure and integrated with existing IT systems. You can share your reports and dashboards via two ways. Either it's your Power BI service, Azure, or you are sharing it via a server on-premise. Whichever you choose, there are existing solutions that you can work with. However, my recommendation is always go with the existing recommended solution for Microsoft itself, which is Power BI service. But then again, if you are working with projects or companies who are very concerned about security and privacy, and they prefer to work on-premise, then you have to work with it. It's not pleasing, but you have to work with it, and there is also a solution for that as well. So let's just have a quick view of how it looks. So you can have dashboard in a minute. I think for people who are just new to this world, hearing two words will be a little bit confusing. Dashboards and reports, these are two things, two very different things. Reports, they are on-premise. Reports are things you are developing on your Power BI desktop, on your machine, and you can have 5, 6, several reports. And when you bring them into the cloud infrastructure, you can have, okay, I want to have this KPI from report A, I want to have this KPI from report B, and bring it all into one dashboard. So for example, imagine this this dashboard tile, and these are all separately, they're called tiles. It might connect with report A, a different file. This might connect with a report B in different files. So each of these tiles can come from different reports with different data sources. So this capability is really, really life-changing, especially for management view, for portfolio view. This is very important because when it comes to KPI presentations, this is very powerful. Yeah, we have natural language query. I already mentioned that. You can, aside from asking like really lingually about the things you want to see, you can also type in your report exactly the way you are typing or asking a question in Google. If you know the keywords that it's been used in your report or in your data set, it's really easy to get results back with just typing a simple sentence. Okay, where is my top 10? What is my top 10 customers? Or what are the top 10 customers in Europe? These keywords like customers, Europe, country, blah, these are really keywords. If you know them, with just writing a simple sentence, you can get results back. And this is when we're talking about end user business intelligence. This is one of those features that it's been used recently, especially by high level end users like managers. We have quick insights in Power BI. This is sort of a machine learning algorithm behind. Of course, you are not seeing that algorithm, but if you are not sure about what you are presenting and you think, okay, there are something more in this data, but I cannot find it or I cannot present it, then you can use Quick Insight. You can ask Power BI to present it for you, and they will create automatically, they will create visualizations and connections in your data based on what you have introduced as data model. They can say, okay, I see that there is an anomaly here in your data, and we think this can be or might be the reason. And that is exactly where you step in and say, okay, there is a change here. I know why, because we had a customer who joined us, I don't know, last February, and this customer brought a lot of revenue. That's why, I didn't see it with my own eyes. And this quick insight really can help you to play your analytics roles much better, much professionally. Sometimes I call it cheat sheet, but it's good. Yeah, we had the Cortana integration. I will pass on this, never emphasize on this, because in all these projects that I have worked with, never use this one. So yeah, we have live dashboards. As you can see here, these tiles are changing based on the live data which is inserted into Power BI dashboard. Then this is very, very interesting feature to work with, especially when it comes to Internet of Things, IoT. And this is very focused right now for projects who are working with Internet of Things and connecting with sensor data, watching, finding anomaly or anomaly detections. This feature is a very cool feature to use. Then we have custom visualizations. This is a very advanced feature in Power BI, mostly used by very big companies when they want to create a custom visual for themselves, which is not offered by a normal visualization tool or visualization chart, let's say, or graph. Later on in the slide, I will give you an example of custom visualizations, but right now, just keep it in mind. We have published to the web. This is also very interesting. You can, as I said before, you can publish or upload your Power BI report to Power BI service, which is hosted on Azure. Then you have two options. You can either first publish this Power BI report to the whole internet without the security, and like everyone can access, everyone can see. This is free. This is a good thing for people who are started just developing and they want to brag with their report on LinkedIn or their own personal blogs or so. It's free. You can just simply publish it, and Power BI gives you a URL, and then you can copy paste this URL everywhere you want, and then you can present your report. But if you want to do it secure, and if you want to do it for private data sensitive data in your company or so, and you still have this capability, but then you have to pay for Power BI Pro. I mean, of course, you don't have to pay. The company should have to pay for Power BI Pro, which I will talk about the pricing later. But then again, this publish to web capability make the sharing inside the organization much more easier, because then you can send an email, an automatic email to the end user whenever there's a change in your report, whenever the report is updated, or you want to just mention, okay, I want to set an alarm for my report when this KPI reached to one certain level, then send the notification to my users, etc. So this is also a very, very cool feature to use. We have integration with Microsoft apps and services, as I mentioned before. You can work with Excel, you can work with Power Apps, Microsoft Flow, which we call nowadays Power Automate. I don't know why they changed it. What else? Yeah, there are a lot of different applications that you can use with Power BI and in combination with Power BI, which is make it quite powerful. And yeah, you have the capability to create mobile reports. Quite tricky, I will confess. It's quite tricky because then you have to compress all of those complex visualization into one tiny little device, but still you have the chance to do it. And believe it or not, from management, you will receive this request that, I've heard that you can create the mobile report, then please do create it for me. And then you will be like, okay, here we go again. You can connect all the data around you. As I said before, it doesn't matter where your data is, if it's on cloud, hybrid, on-premise, if the data source is on web, you're reading from Twitter, Google Analytics, doesn't matter where, you have the capability to bring the data inside the report, and this is quite cool. You can shape, transfer, and clean the data for analysis, join and model data from multiple sources, and extend with advanced analytics technologies like R. This here, as you can see, this is a data model inside Power BI, and this is one of the most important things when you are developing your report. Of course, there are so many reports that you don't need to create a data model. You just have a flat Excel file, Excel table, and that is your main source. But mostly for big companies, for big projects, having a good functioning data model is the key. And when you are doing that step, you have to be like all eyes and ears to do it correct. And then later on, everything would be much easier to work with. And you have the self-service analysis. You have Power BI Desktop. It comes, and you have the combination with Excel. And yeah, I don't need to emphasize how Excel, what is the important role that Excel play in the market, especially when it comes to finance sector. And you have this one-click publish to Power BI. As I said before, it's jumping again. You can publish to Power BI with just one click, and then you have this capability to share your data wherever they want. So this is the architecture behind. So these are the different data sources that I mentioned: cloud, hybrid, on-premises, Excel files, SharePoint lists, Access. So you can connect to different data sources, and then you bring your data into your Power BI desktop. And here you start to shape your data, clean it, cleanse it, transform it, and then model it. You create the relationship. Okay, I have a customer table, I have department table, how they are connected. I have calendar table, which you should have. It's a must-have for all the projects you are doing. And they're all there is a connection between these tables, and it's quite simple to do it, but it totally depends on the business logic in the project or in the company that you are working. So this step is very important. And then you have the capability to create the report, to create a dashboard, and then share it via Power BI service or in other platforms. And of course, you have the Power BI phone modeling. You can still share your report via Excel files, etc. Yeah. One thing which is making Power BI quite successful is that Power BI is for everyone. And when I say it's for everyone, it is really for everyone, because I myself worked with students who are just graduated and they want to come to the market, and they're working with it, with managers who they want to have the control over the reports. I have a 62 years old colleague right now who he's also trying to work with Power BI because he's so tired of classical reporting. And now that he sees all the differences that this interactivity capability brings to reporting, he's eager to learn it as well. I don't know why this is jumping. Okay. Yeah, so it doesn't matter if you're a developer, if you're a business intelligence professional, if you're a business user or a business analyst, you can work with it. It's easy to start with. And one other point is that it's free. So one of the key things when it comes to comparison with Power BI and Tableau or other business intelligence tool is that it's free or it's quite cheap. So if you want to use Power BI Pro just to share your content, your report, your final report at the end in a secure way, you just need to do it with €8 per person, per user. So if you are in a company with, I don't know, 20 end users or 50 end users, it's not much expensive in comparison to other products. And when it comes to bigger companies, enterprise companies, which have a lot of end users, more than 500 end users, they are having this Power BI Premium, which is the pricing model is quite different, and still in comparison with other products, it's quite affordable. That's why a lot of companies are switching right now from whatever they're using to Power BI because of the costing. And one other thing is that when you are having some sort of Azure packages or Office 365 packages purchased in your company, there are some chances that you can have Power BI pricing in a very, very, very much more affordable price. Sometimes it comes free with Office 365, but then again, it depends on which version you are using. So the ability, Google's chief economist said the ability to take data, to be able to understand it, to process it, to extract value from it, to visualize it, to communicate it, that's going to be a hugely important skill in the next decade. And guess when he just said that? Yeah, at 2009. And we are right now, 10 years later, and we see the importance of these sort of business intelligence tools and why we are emphasizing on bringing this culture for young generations and old generations as well, because this is the change we are talking about. This is the transformation which is happening right now. If you look at if I want to talk about the Power BI role in the market, so this is, okay, there's something wrong with my presentation, sorry. So in 2017, thank you, Power BI and Tableau, they were in the same level. I have a genie in my house. Okay. Yeah, it's not working. Okay, we'll quickly explain here. As you saw, Microsoft now is ahead of Tableau in 2021. It is Microsoft Power BI is much more ahead than other business intelligence tools and packages. Why? Because first and foremost, pricing is very important. Second, Power BI is sitting on the most powerful business intelligence package. It comes with the capabilities. It comes with the capabilities of analysis services and integration services. The capability that you can have to create a small ETL, extract transaction load, in your own report. This is really, really game changing in the business intelligence analytics world. That's the reason why, however, Power BI is just like 5-6 years old, in comparison to other tools, it's growing so fast and a lot of companies are using it. As you can see in this page, there are a lot of companies. There are much more. I didn't have more space to put more examples, but here in this link you can go and see the different showcase from different companies. Big companies like Rolls-Royce, Henkel. In European companies, I know Siemens has already started working with Power BI. There are quite famous German companies who are working with Power BI as well, right? Aurelius, Replay. Yeah, these are two names that I remember right now. But important thing is that there are lots of other companies who are joining this wave, and this is quite exciting for people who are just started to learning it, because they know that there will be quite a lot of opportunities in the future for them. Just a quick showcase of what Rolls-Royce is doing with Power BI. They have more than 13,000 engines for commercial aircraft in service around the world. As they rapidly increase volume of data coming from many different type of aircraft equipment, and they target to help their customers understand the value of the data analytics initiated. So in order to do so, they work with Microsoft Azure and Microsoft Power BI. This is an example of the dashboard Rolls-Royce is creating for the pilots and the flight engineers to see, okay, where was the last time this aircraft flight to, how many fuel it has used, how much more, how is the situation or status of the motor inside this aircraft, etc. So there are so many information written or inside this dashboard, a lot of different KPIs inside this dashboard, which helps the aircraft pilot or engineer just with a one quick view. They can have an overview of, okay, what was where and who was doing what and what can I do next. So this is quite interesting and very powerful in my idea. And this is actually one of the custom visuals that I told you before. I will show you an example with. These are custom visuals designed by Rolls-Royce data scientists for Power BI, and the different parts of this airplane motor, as I say, engine, airplane engine. The different colors of this airplane engine will change depending on the filtering on this page. So this visual is quite impressive in my idea. However, it's not open source. It's used and designed and used only by Rolls-Royce. But there are so many other custom visuals out there that you can use, or if you are good in Python and R, you can also create your own custom visuals. So Power BI, they say it's a storyteller. Power BI is the PowerPoint of data, and you can tell your story with Power BI. I will show you very quick demo because I have talked my 45 minutes so far. Yep. So, do you see this Power BI file?
Yes, Elahe.
Great. So, this is the view of Power BI desktop, and here is, as I said, the heart and the brain behind Power BI. This is where you can do all kind of transformations. And these are steps that you are taking. These are the transformation tools which you can use to cleanse your data, to model your data, to increase the quality of your data. And this is the overview of the first report page, so to say. You can just simply drag and drop any kind of visualization that you want to have, and you can use any kind of filtering inside one report. Like if I select a country, the numbers will be changed, the visuals will be filtered. Yeah, as you can see, it takes some time. It's heavy data. You can also click and interact with the visuals inside the visuals with clicking on the map or with clicking on any other visuals or numbers. You can create such tooltips. As you can see, this tooltip is sort of another report page which is used as a tooltip for this visual. This is one report. It's not made by me. It's coming from Power BI community. You can find all sort of data and reports there which are cleansed and ready to present, sort of. But in our upcoming course, these are sort of things that we will create ourselves as like hand-on workshops. We will receive some raw data. I will show you or ask you to do it for yourself, how to transform it, how to model it, how to create the connection between tables, why we are doing data modeling, this sort of important stuff. These are things that we would like to focus on our next step in the course, because these are not things that I can tell you like in 5 minutes or so, but I just wanted you to see how the environment look like, what kind of ribbons we have, what kind of capabilities it has, just with click or with just changing the data from tables to maps, from column chart to stack bar charts, etc. So they say it's drag and drop. It's correct. It's drag and drop, but you have to first prepare the data for this drag and drop ability. This is what we will focus on later in the course, if there would be time to do it, of course. This would be the focus on our course. Okay. So we have the data transformation session, data visualization, and data presentation. So in transformation, which is the first step, we will talk about Power Query. We will talk about how to connect data, transform it, create the data model, what is the data model, of course, and load the data. We will talk about data visualization later. What is a report? What is a dashboard? What are KPIs? What are different cards and views? What are calculated columns? And how to create a measure, how to create a schedule refresh. We will talk about DAX in this module, in data visualization module, but we will not dive deep in DAX, because DAX itself needs at least 2 or 3 sessions. It's hard to catch on first with DAX, because there are 2 very interesting and, let's say, complex contests in DAX, which is about filtering report filtering and visualization filtering. We will not dive deep in DAX in this module, but if we have the request, we will do it definitely afterwards. And then we have the data presentation. We will talk about how to publish and distribute the report, what is a dashboard, how to create a dashboard, and we talk about live reports and live dashboards and security and role stuff. So this would be the Power BI 101 as our next course. And for now, yeah, thank you so much. And if you have questions and answers if you have, I would be happy to hear, of course. And these are the sources I'm using. Just one last thing I would like to mention. Power BI has a very, very big, amazing community out there. I don't know how they do it. Seriously, I have no idea. But this community is quite big, and imagine Stack Overflow just for Power BI. So there is a community out there, and you can ask any question and you will receive the answer back within a day or so. And of course, there might be no solution for the question that you are asked, but the important thing is that you are feeling the support and you are feeling that you are belong to this community. And this gives you a good feeling that, okay, there are people out there who are struggled with me, like me, and there are people who they can help me. I don't even know them, but they help me, and you start to do it back for them as well. This is a good feeling that Microsoft or Power BI community around the world created, and I myself really enjoy working with this community, and I like it when I call myself, okay, I am a part of this community. That was just the last motivational tip for you. So I will finish my presentation if you have any questions.
Thanks, Elahe. It was really informative and insightful. I myself have learned a lot of new things. Thank you. So if you have any question, go for it. Khosrow has said, thanks, Elahe. I'm losing my face with the Tableau.
Okay. Let's fight.
I have a question, Elahe, about the data filtering and cleaning that you have mentioned. How is the process of this data filtering and cleaning? Because I thought it would be somehow complicated, isn't it?
It's not as complicated as you think. It depends on the quality of the data that you are working with. Like if you are receiving the data in a CSV file or in an Excel file or from an SQL query, it's easy to work with because you know the errors, you know that null values are not shown, and you just need to say, okay, replace the null values with, I don't know, blank, and then it would be solved. If the data is coming from an unknown resource for you, it would be challenging because then you have to know, okay, the date format is different in this file or in this resource, and then I have to change the date first, I have to change the strings, and then, it makes it a bit complicated, but then again, it totally depends on your dominance on the resource or the data that you have on hand.
Okay. Interesting. And what about the unstructured data?
Unstructured data, if you're talking about images and videos.
And also text, free text, maybe?
Free text, you can bring them into a structure with text function that are existing in Power Query. With videos and images, yet Power BI is not as a strong tool to work with to convert or structure this sort of data. But one good thing is that you can use this or you can have your unstructured data in containers like Azure Blob Storage and then connect your Power BI report to that. It would be much faster and much easier to work with.
Interesting. Thank you. Any other questions? You can also, yes, thanks for the presentation. You can also ask in Persian if you want, because I think, yeah, most of you cannot speak Farsi. But anyway, as you like. So if there isn't any question, I myself have another question
Of course.
about the data that you said. Faso has written that actually diagrams on slide 25 and 6 are fascinating. They seem to have a SQL Microsoft Server entity. Am I right? Can you read the chat? Mm-hmm.
Yes, I will also. Yes. This is slide 26. I will share it again. Yes, this is slide 26, and he's right. This entity relationship or cube modeling, or having this fact and dimensional modeling, star schema, snowflake, all these keywords that you know in SQL Server, it is possible in Power BI. That is why I mentioned it so many times, that Power BI in data modeling is very important. Power BI, this relational diagram, this relational data modeling is playing a very, very important key role in Power BI reports. And I just want to say, Tableau doesn't have this feature, and I would like to defend myself sometimes. Yeah, this is one thing that is very nice to have for people who are working long time for SQL Server. If you have this knowledge of using relational databases, relational data modelings, and this sort of stuff, Power BI is such a help for you, my idea.
Yeah, now you have shared your screen again. Can you also show a slide? It was about the market that you couldn't present it, but it was interesting for me.
Yes, I don't know what happened, but yeah, this you mean.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah. So this is a Gartner view, market review, which they are publishing each February each year, and they are studying about the progress and the importance of business intelligence tools. This is not just business intelligence. You can find it for all kind of other tools, but of course we are focusing here just on market leaders for business intelligence. And as you see, Microsoft exceeded this year. I think Microsoft is exceeding since 2019, if I'm not mistaken, because in 2017, as you can see here, they were sort of in the same level. But now, because of all the changes and all the updates, Power BI is sort of a known leader business intelligence tool out there.
Nice information. And does Power BI have also some part about these topics of people analytics, working with people's data? You have mentioned about the chat, that it can use the data from Microsoft Teams, for example. But
yeah,
does it have any other also opportunities in this field?
I know that there are functions like sentiment analysis is used a lot in Power BI when it comes to reading HR data. I know some companies are using Power BI just to create their HR reports or people analytics regarding the HR data. But honestly, I have seen just one. One thing that I've seen a lot within these years is that Power BI is used a lot in combination to present data analytics for people analytics and budget analytics for portfolio management. They have this this reports sort of that you see, okay, I have this amount of money or budget, I have this many people, and this many people are work this many hours based on the system that they are recording hours, and they say, okay, I have my top 10 employees. I see, okay, these people are worked better. So you have this overview of, okay, I know who are working good, who are not, especially in consulting company, because consultants, they have contracts and they are bringing money into the company. So they see, okay, these people has this many contracts, she's or he is bringing this amount of money. And these kind of interactive reports for portfolio management, it's been a highlight these days for a lot of small and medium companies.
Okay, interesting. Thank you. And yeah, maybe you can also give us some hints about the job in this field. How is the actually German market?
It's very good.
Good to know that.
Very short answer. It's very good because I say this because I'm receiving a lot of job offers inside LinkedIn and Xing for, okay, we are searching for junior business intelligence analytics who can work with Power BI or with SQL, especially if you have good German skills, like you can create the data and then present the report. This would be a highlight for you. Like, you just need to know how to work with Power BI, how to create your own first reports, and you will have good opportunities to go into the market. One good thing is that it's somehow, I would say, a cheat tip I will give you here is that, as you see, Power BI is not so old, it's new. So the number of people who are professionally doing Power BI is not many. Seriously, is not many. And when you're working with DAX, in some cases, especially in finance sector, it's quite complicated that people quit. They're like, okay, we don't want to do it. So if you have the ability to prove yourself in the first level, okay, I can create the report, and then you go inside the company and start to dig more about the data and about how Power BI works. And with the help of Power BI community, I can promise that you can have a good future job related, I mean.
Amazing. So let's start to learn it from today. So.
Okay. Question.
So you are reading the question in the chat, yeah?
So Tableau works with MDX. Power Query also works with MDX. So we have two languages used in Power BI, DAX and M. M is used in Power Query when you're transforming your data, and DAX is used inside your report when you're creating your measures. So if you know M, then you're one step ahead. But when it comes to DAX, as I said in our 101 session, we were just going to talk about top 5 functions that you are, top 5 most used functions in DAX, like calculate, table function, sum, SumX, max, this sort of functions. We are not going to dig deep in filter context and evaluation context. This requires at least 2 sessions in my idea. But if we have the request, I'm sure we can create a course just for DAX, talking about the evaluation context.
So, Hosto, do you live in Germany or in any other countries? Okay. So, any other questions? Yeah, someone has said that. Thanks, Elahe. It was a great presentation, insightful and really helpful. Nice
My
job.
pleasure.
Yeah, it was really good information. I have heard about Power BI capabilities, but not in that deep. And it was also interesting for me, Elahe.
It gives you a good confidence to start. That's very, very good, especially for those who are just joining to the market. That's why I really recommend to all of my friends who are just graduating, learn it. It's good. And it doesn't take much time from you to learn it, but you can brag about it. Oh, I know Power BI. Teaching.
Nice advice. Okay, great. So if you don't have any other questions, I think we can now finish the session. We will upload the video in our YouTube channel. So thanks a lot again for your time. Thanks for joining us. And I wish all of you a nice evening.
Have a nice evening. Bye.
Bye.